Hey everyone, my name is Benny. I run a channel called Comic Story, and I read a lot of comics on a weekly basis, but that also means that I enjoy myself a good manga once in a while, and I've been reading My Hero Academia since it originally came out. But now I've got problems with it, and I just feel like making a video in which I rant about the Final War arc and what is irritating the most in me about the Final War arc. So today, I just want to have a video where I just express and vent some of the anger and just irritation I have with the current thing. Now, the video was originally going to be me just talking about pacing issues and problems that have come out of My Hero as of entering the Final War arc. I want to clarify, I'm going to be talking about who fights who, but I will not be talking about the nitty gritty of what the individual moments that happen. I don't want to spoil the epic moments. I also want to clarify, I feel like a lot of these pacing issues are going to be out the window when this gets turned into an anime. There's a couple of reasons for that. First up, Final War arc started 2 years ago. February 14th, 2022 was the first chapter of what is known as the Final War arc, dubbed Let You Down. I'm not exactly sure in the dates of where it came out in the US versus Japan, but it should be pretty close to that date in general. And right now, I'm filming this on March 4th, meaning that we have gone over 2 years of Final War arc. The big issue with the Final War arc, in my opinion, has been one, the writer got injured. So what partially happened is his drawing hand got injured, and that slowed down the release of My Hero, taking multiple breaks throughout the current run of storylines, on top of the fact that when he was able to draw and write what's going on, sometimes it was as low as 7 pages to 11 pages. Now, if you don't read a lot of manga, most of the time it ranges between 18 to 22 pages, and if it's a real quick cliffhanger, they'll cut that down temporarily. But there's a pretty consistent thing. Most One Piece chapters range between 19 to 22 pages. So that's our first problem. If you're unaware, being a mangaka, I believe is what is pronounced, the job title or whatever it is. I've read it a few times. There's even like mangaka versus mangaka battles. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but being an artist writer for manga is a grueling job with a crazy turnaround time. It's an actual issue. Everyone likes to argue that the US comic book industry is a big problem in the way they handle things. Oh, Japan's perfect. No, Japan works their people into the ground, and it's in the culture to be worked into the ground, which is what they're doing to the guy that's literally injured trying to create My Hero Academia. The first thing is they should have just taken an extended break, given him like 2 to 3 months to recover, and then come back with My Hero. Maybe get the guy doing the Vigilantes run to come over and do like a little side plot involving the Vigilantes guy. Just an opinion thing, nothing else. But because he's still going, what's happening is we have 2 years of the Final War arc coming out in infrequently on top of low page counts. So what feels like it's something that should have been the culmination of all of these years, Deku versus Shigaraki, All for One versus All Might, and all the various breakdowns of stuff going on, like Todoroki finding out about Dabi and what's going on with that. The actual battle between Endeavor, Todoroki, and Dabi. All of these fights are finally happening. But the pacing is an odd choice because what we're doing is we started off Final War arc with a plan. They need to separate all the villains into different groups so that the heroes can beat them down. That means that the initial plot was to separate everybody and have multiple fights going. Now, instead of having it go from beginning to end on multiple fights, they then chose to do a couple of chapters for each fight and keep bouncing around, making the pacing rough, because what would happen is we'd spend 10 minutes with this group of characters fighting against this group of villains, and then jump and spend 10 more minutes catching up the timeline to where everybody is at. Meanwhile, if you've been reading, I didn't realize this started 2 years ago, but apparently Deku and Shigaraki have been falling out of the sky for like a year and a half of that. Because without spoiling what happens, they're up in the sky and they're falling, and it's like a year and a half. To make matters worse, we have the big fights that you've been waiting for peppered in around each other. So, oh, Deku's fighting Shigaraki. Oh, stop. Hold on. We got to go see what Endeavor's doing to Dabi. Oh, stop. What happened to Toga? Oh, stop. We got to go over to All Might. Oh, stop. Random character that had 10 chapters 200 chapters ago. The best one that stands out to me in that is there is like a couple of chapter break in the middle of this, infrequent release, low page count, where we go back to see what happened to Gentle Criminal and La Brava. Why? They were fun. I didn't need them in the finale. Again, guys, this is just me venting and frustrated with what's happening with My Hero. I've gotten to a point where a new chapter of My Hero comes down and I just skim it to see what is actually happening, what is actually going on. And it's just all over. It's all over the place, bouncing from character to character, jumping from fight to fight. On one hand, I love it. It's great to see these finales happening. On the other hand, I'm like, can it just end already? Just end. I just want to see how it ends. The fight has been going on forever. Now I am going to jump into some spoiler direct territory. Very heavy spoilers of the last fight. This is your warning for it. And what incited me to argue, and I'm giving Dan the option to remove his headset so that he does not know what I'm about to say because he's watching this in anime. He's watching it in dubbed anime. So he's even behind the Japanese releases. So I'm giving my buddy, my co-host of Dubbed Degenerates, the anime podcast we do right here, an opportunity to not listen in, and I will wave wildly when I'm done. If that was not enough of a spoiler warning for you and you are still watching and didn't want to, look, that's on you at this point, man. We finally get to the final fight. Shigaraki versus Deku. We are finally there, and they're having the battle, and it's truly epic. The concepts that are going on, the ideas that are happening, Shigaraki's just too much with all of his abilities to battle against Deku. Deku needs to come up with a plan, and that plan, which I loved reading about, was that he was going to implant One for All into Shigaraki with All for One and just make Shigaraki self-implode. Amazing idea. But you know what they decided to do instead? It didn't work. Now we need another plan. What it reminded me of was reading Dressrosa for One Piece when we went Gear 4 finally, and we decided to go and beat Doflamingo, only for him to go, well, I didn't actually beat him. We need to spend 10 more chapters getting me back to power so I can go Gear 4 again and end it a second time. That's what it reminded me of. It's so frustrating, so irritating that I wanted to make this video just so I can vent and just throw my thoughts out there because I love to talk about the manga and anime that I love on this channel, but at the same time, I thought maybe I should talk about something that I'm just irritated with. It's not that I don't like My Hero, and it's not that I don't want to see how it's going to be concluding, but oh my gosh, is it frustrating to just be dragging out this finale. But I wanted to make this video because I wanted to get your opinions. And I wanted to hear the opinions of the One Piece fans who had to deal with this for Dressrosa and Whole Cake Island and Wano and all that kind of stuff. Is this what it's like reading weekly for you? Because when I even started reading One Piece, My Hero, I started it when it came out, but then I waited and read multiple volumes at a time. This final war has been going on for 2 years real world time. It's time to just end it so we can move forward with My Hero. I don't even know how the anime is going to be pacing it out. How is that going to work? It's probably going to be better, but is it going to be like 100 episodes? Bouncing between characters? Who knows? But I wanted to get your guys' opinion. Thank you for giving me a little bit of room to vent here and just get it out there. But yeah, that's it. I'm caught up on My Hero and I'm frustrated and irritated. And I have been for the last year. Me and a buddy who talk about all the new issues or chapters are literally at a point where we just wait 2 or 3 chapters and see if anything significant happened and let the other guy know. And it's been boiling down to me going, hey, Leo, don't bother. And him going, oh, I know, I already read it. And I'm like, why didn't you warn me, Leo? And he's like, sorry, man, I've been busy. And I'm like, Leo, we discussed this. You got to tell me if it's worth reading My Hero or Chainsaw Man if you read it before me. And then Leo's like, I know, man, but I'm really busy at work and I've been working overtime and I don't really know I should just record this and I'll put it up here. I'll see you guys next time right here at Manga Storian.